Hunkler and Jake Robinson from the Bluelock team. We're here talking today about keeping your cloud powered. So what I'd like to talk about is a little bit about redundancy and how the cloud stays up. So talking about high availability and how maybe we do that with cloud computing. So let's talk about it from the service provider perspective.
You want to see under the covers, huh?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because from the user perspective, all they should have to do is swipe their credit card or pay their bill,
right? And
it should be powered. So let's whiteboard out a little bit about how we keep the cloud powered.
Sure. So we go through a lot of due diligence as far as making sure everything's redundant. So we'll go ahead and start out. So really all the user cares about is their environment. So
right.
we'll just start off with their environment here. Okay.
About to give you props for your nice illustrations, but then you blew it with the text. So go ahead, keep talking. I'll redo your text for you.
That's engineer handwriting. I apologize. So there are multiple pieces that power an user's environment.
Yep.
So I would say the first and most obvious thing is actual power. So electrical power.
Right.
So in a perfect scenario, you would have dual power companies feeding the entire environment. So
okay.
we'll draw a couple power lines coming in here. So we've got dual power companies feeding this, but not only that, so we can always have just one power feed coming in, powering all the equipment that powers the cloud. But what we do is we actually have an automatic power transfer switch. So
that's the A side and the B side, right?
Right. So each piece of equipment has two power cables. So we have a primary and a backup side.
It's kind of like Noah's Ark.
Right.
Maybe not. Bad simile.
Okay.
Continue.
I will. But in addition to that, it's always entirely possible that, you could lose both power companies, and, it happens all the time. Look at Amazon EC2, look at any data center out there, and you're going to see that happening. So what you also want is a backup generator, right? So a data center will typically have a, big diesel power generator, fuel underground, standby diesel trucks.
So that's if
standby
both
generators.
Power companies get wiped out, there's a generator there still that's powered by fossil fuel,
right?
Old school power.
Right.
Okay.
So that's the power feed. I mean, it's fairly simple. There's a lot of detail that goes into the automatic transfer and automatically transferring power over to the generator. The next part I would say is network connectivity.
Right.
So the feed out to the internet. How's the data center doing that?
Okay.
So again, in the perfect scenario, you'd want two different providers with internet connectivity. So coming out of the environment. So these are both your internet providers, and then the any IP addresses coming in would automatically go down whatever pipe is fastest or best, right?
I noticed that you signified the internet by creating this cloud here, which is actually how cloud computing got its name, right? Or people theorize that that's how.
Right. So in network diagrams, the cloud was, they call it an X25 cloud, which is something different. But the cloud is just, okay, here's this thing that we're not going to expound on, but it's there.
Right.
So now that we have our power and network connectivity, something else that maintains the environment is cooling.
Sure.
So, and when we talk about these things, you'll notice that there's two. So we call it 2N, 2 for every item. So 2N cooling. So I don't know how you want to.
so
You draw the cooling.
So 2.
I imagine.
Oh, you're gonna let me network
like
diagram?
blowing it.
Yes. Alright, so 2N just means redundant.
Mhm.
And cooling, I'm gonna let you draw the cooling because I have no idea how to do that in a network diagram. Just put that on top of the environment.
Yeah, here.
Nice. Alright, this looks like heating.
It could be. I don't know if you're in like in Alaska.
Yeah.
Cooling.
Nice.
All right. So 2N, power, network, cooling. That doesn't take care of the actual hardware that your environment resides on.
Yep.
So both redundant storage and redundant compute. So you want your environment to reside in a fully redundant, storage cluster and a fully redundant compute cluster. And I think we've covered those before, but we can go over just a little bit about that again.
Maybe next time. I think that from a high level, this kind of goes over how we keep the cloud powered. Next time we talk about RAID 10 and all that, in terms of having different clusters and copying across the clusters.
Right.
Maybe we could even get Bob Rodebush on here and he could talk a little bit. He likes to geek out on that stuff.
Very cool. One thing to note is, this is one of the major reasons for going to cloud computing is the fact that you don't have to purchase or manage any of this 2N stuff. I mean, think about paying, basically double for everything, that you need, and that's what cloud computing does for you.
So from a business standpoint, you're just focusing on, so you could almost draw a cloud around this entire thing, right?
Absolutely.
From a business user standpoint, because it's one of those things that, you swipe your credit card or you send a check off to your cloud service provider and you don't have to extrapolate on any of this. Of course, you'd want your CTO or technology guy to make sure he understands all of this, because not all clouds are created equal.
Mm-hmm.
But understanding that this is redundant, 2N redundant, or at least 2N redundant, and having all that those backups in place so you can keep your cloud powered.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, Jake. We will see you next time on Whiteboard Wednesday. If you have questions, hit us up in the comments, or feel free to hit us up on Twitter @Bluelock or twitter.com//Bluelock, and we'll see you next time.